Jai Shri Paramahamsa Parivati Jai Shri Srimad Bhagavatam A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ISKCON BBT founder Charles Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Jai Shri Paramahamsa Parivati Jai Shri Srimad Bhagavatam Thakur Prabhupada Ki Jai Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasudeva Gaurabhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Radha Krishna Govardhana Shyamakun Radhakan Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Devi Ki Jai Gangamai Ki Jai Jamuna Mai Ki Jai Mathura Govardhan Ki Jai Navadvipur Dham Ki Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai President Book Distribution Ki Jai Glory is to the sum of devotees, all glory is to the sum of devotees, all glory is to the sum of devotees, all glory is to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga.
Gaur Premanande. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajikacharya Asatotra Satya Sri Srimad Charananda Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Harinam Sankirtan Yagya ki Sri Sri Kuli Mela Maha Mahotsava ki Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Bol. Welcome to one and all to today's morning Bhagavatam class. Today we'll be speaking on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 22, text number 28. This chapter is entitled Bali Maharaj Surrenders His Life. Esha Danava Daityanam Eshavadhanava Daityanam Agrani Kirtivardhana Agrani Kirtivardhana Jai Sid Ajayam Mayam Jai Sid Ajayam Mayam Siddhanapi namuhyati Siddhanapi namuhyati Eshadanava Daityanam Agrani Kirtivardhana Jai Sid Ajayam Mayam Siddhanapi namuhyati.
Esadanava Daityanam Griha Kritivardhana Ajasira Jayamayam Siddhamapi Mamuyate
Eshadanava Daityanam Agrani Kirtivardhanaha Jai Shri Dajayam Mayam Siddhanapi namuyati
Eshadanava Daityanam Agrani Kirtivardhana Ajay Sid Ajayamayam Siddhanapi namuhyati.
Ladies.
Eshadanava Daityanam Agrani Kirtivardhana Ajay Sid Ajayam Mayam Siddhanapi namuyati.
Eshadanava Daityanam Agrani Kirtivardhana Jaya Shri Dayayam Mayam Siddhanapi namuyati.
Eshadanava Daityanam Agrani Kirtivardhana Ajay Shri Dayayam Mayam Siddhanapi namuyati.
Esha, this Bali Maharaj, Danava Daityanam, among the demons and unbelievers, Agrani, the foremost devotee, Kirtivardhana, the most famous, Ajay Sid has already surpassed Ajayam, the insurmountable. Mayam, material energy. Siddhan, being bereft. Of all material opulences. Api, although. Na, not. Muhyati, is bewildered. Should we repeat the synonyms? They normally do it here. Oh, we did that first. Translation. Bali Maharaj has become the most famous among the demons and non-believers. For in spite of being bereft of all material opulences, he is fixed in his devotional service. Can repeat. Bali Maharaj has become the most famous among the demons and non-believers. For in spite of being bereft of all material opulences, he is fixed in his devotional service. Purport. In this verse, the words Siddhanapi Namuhyati are very important. A devotee is sometimes put into adversity while executing devotional service. In adversity, everyone laments and becomes aggrieved, but by the grace of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, a devotee, even in the worst condition, can understand that he is going through a severe examination by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Bali Maharaj passed all such examinations as explained in the following verses. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhatale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Name Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Pracharani Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Vejitaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Daita Gadadhara Shivasa Gaurvani Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram. So welcome everybody. So this particular verse is continuing on the topic of Bali Maharaj and Lord Vamanadev. So we've got to the point where the Bhagavatam has been going on the story that Vamanadev appeared. His mother was performing what's it called? I think Bhagavatam ceremony, and because of her pious activity, she was able to beget Lord Vamanadev as a son, Kashyapa Muni and Diti. And Lord Vamanadev is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He appeared with Shankha, Chakra, Gada and Padma, the Shankha, the conch, Chakra, the whatever you call it, the wheel, and Gada club and Padma the lotus. And he came especially for this pastime, and he came in the form of a brahmachari, a Brahmana brahmachari. So when he came to Bali Maharaj, who was a great king, Bali Maharaj was performing sacrifice. So whenever you perform a sacrifice, you invite all the Brahmanas to give blessings. So Lord Vamanadev came, and the tradition is, because Brahmana he has 6 activities: Patan, Yajan, Dan, Pratigraha. So one of them is giving in charity and receiving charity. So those who are not Brahmanas, like especially Kshatriyas, they must always give in charity to the Brahmanas. Otherwise that wealth becomes like poison. If one has wealth but they don't use it in engaging in devotional service, that same wealth becomes his poison. The same thing which gives you so much benefit becomes opposite. So Bali Maharaj said to Lord Vamanadev, he didn't know he was God at that time, but he said to him that, "My dear Brahmana, you are such a pious brahmachari, very nice Brahmana, how can I serve you? Whatever you want, I can give, no problem." So he thought he would just ask for something small. And he did actually. It seemed like he asked for something small. He just said, "I just want 3 steps of land, 3 paces, how much I can get, that's it." So he was thinking, oh, that's not such a big deal. He's just a small guy, he's not such a 10 feet person or something. So his guru said to him, does anyone remember his guru's name? Yeah. So he said to him that, no, you better watch out, this is actually Supreme Personality, go ahead. And if you fulfill this promise, you're going to be in big trouble. Because he may take everything away from you, and you're such a big king, you have to doing such a nice job. But you have to watch out, because we know Vishnu is very naughty. He may take everything. One of the names is Hari, he takes away everything. But Bali Maharaj, he wanted to be very pious, very honest. Prabhupada explains that previously in a few chapters before, that if you give a promise and then you break it, or if you lie to somebody that I'll give you something you don't give it, that's the most sinful activity. It's like, I can never do that. I would never break my lie. Once I've given, I'll never break my promise. Once I've said I'll give you whatever you want, I'm going to give you whatever you want. So his guru said, no, there are some circumstances when you can, a little bit bend the rules. He gave a few examples, I can't remember them. Like maybe, if you said it as a joke, or, I don't know, does anyone remember any more examples? There was like 3-4 examples given.
That before a promise there should be Om pronounced, then only it is counted as a real vow, otherwise without Om it can be not counted.
Yeah, so there were different examples given. And so he said, no, I'm going to fulfill this promise. It probably is not a big deal anyway. So he said, okay, so then Vamana wanted the 3 places of land. So within the first 2 steps, he covered the whole universe. Second step was all the way to the heavenly planets, which is like godzillions of miles away. Or maybe kilometers, I don't know what they use in Belgium. So he was thinking that, oh my God, this is commitment. And as we learn from all of these verses, Bali Maharaj is a very, very honest, very pious person. Even though he was born in the demoniac lineage, he's actually a very pious person. His grandfather was Prahlad Maharaj, such a pious person. His great-grandfather was Hiranyakashipu, a slightly, bad guy. He was a little bit of a cheeky monkey, did a few naughty things here and there. So he came in general in a lineage of demons. The Prahlad Maharaj himself, he was referred to in the previous canto as being the best of all the demons, because he was the most pious. But also his grandson has the same mood as his grandfather. He got the mercy of his grandfather. So Bali Maharaj said, okay, I'll give you everything. So which meant he had to give up everything, because whatever was covered in those 2 steps, including his kingdom, including all his soldiers, all his wealth, all his property. Sometimes we think I'm a good real estate investor. I have like 1 house in Liège, I have 1 house in Ruby, 1 house costs 2 million euros, 1 house costs 1 million euros. I'm getting this much rent every month, But Bali Maharaj had so much. He was the biggest king. But he said, okay, I have to surrender, I'm going to give everything, because I'm not going to break my promise to you. So then he was sent, I think, to one of the planets, Sutala? Sutala. And then, later, he told Vamanadev, I still owe you the 3rd step, so just put it on my head. That's the only thing I have left is myself. So when somebody puts their foot on your head, then that means you surrender to them. So that's why we always touch the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada, and it's signifying that we surrender unto Guru. And even then, Prahlad Maharaj even appeared to congratulate him on doing this surrender. It's like we have the 9 processes of devotional service, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. So the final one, Atma Nivedanam. So this was Atma Nivedanam. I gave already all my property, everything, and now I'm giving myself to you. So this is the example of what the devotee should be. So we can have a look at the synonyms. So in this verse, he's described as Dhanava Daityana, which means that this is considering from all of the different demons, the different very low-class people and the atheists. And what is he called amongst them? The Agrani, the foremost devotee. So just the same thing was what Prahlad Maharaj was called in the previous canto. he was called the best of all the demons. So same thing that Bali Maharaj is being called. You can see that he has just the same mood like Prahlad Maharaj. And he's also called Kirti Vardhana, the most famous. There was another consideration why he thought, I think there were like 2 or 3 considerations. He was like, why I should surrender, even though this is such a big commitment. These 2 steps of land ended up being everything. So one of them was, okay, he's a Brahmana, I can't lie to a Brahmana. And then another one was that, no, one was just that you should honor a Brahmana, I think. One was that you shouldn't lie. And the third main point why he thought I must surrender is because reputation. Because Prabhupada explains earlier that actually what lives longer than you is your reputation. Just like in the Bhagavad Gita when Krishna was trying to convince Arjuna that he should fight, then one of the reasons Krishna gave, one of the many reasons he gave was that you will become infamous. And infamy is worse than death. Does anybody remember that verse in Bhagavad Gita? Akirti Karamajana or something like that. He was basically saying that although in this life, you may be able to enjoy this and that, but what will live longer than you may live maybe 70 years, 80 years. Maybe in these days they live much longer. I don't know what Yuga this was in. Was it in Satya Yuga? I don't know. It's like hundreds of thousands of years. So you may live a long time, but your reputation will live longer than you. So therefore he was thinking that that's another consideration. Especially I come from this lineage, people respect so much, Virochana, my dad, and Prahlad Maharaj, my granddad, and Hiranyakashipu also. Even Vamanadev, before he asked for the benediction, he was glorifying Bali Maharaj. He was saying, oh, you come from such a great family. Even your great-grandfather Hiranyakashipu, he was so powerful. Even the demigods, when they saw him, they ended up peeing in their pants. They were so scared of him. And he caused so much turmoil. Even the weather was much worse than what we get in London. And there's so many things, The whole sky was like burning, people were suffering so much. You can see how powerful he is. Vamanadev, you can see the Lord is not envious. Even somebody who wanted to kill him, even he can indirectly say, oh, he was nice, just see a great grandfather. he was a powerful guy, very dynamic personality, So Vamanadev was saying, you come from such a great lineage and you're such a good king. Nobody is like hungry at night thinking, when will I get my paneer sabji, In your kingdom, everyone is fed, everyone is well dressed, and you're a very good, honest king. You're very loyal to everybody. So he was saying, so Vamanadev was saying that because of all of this, I'm sure you will accept my whatever small question I have, or whatever small request I have. So you can see that Bali Maharaj, not only is a great devotee, but he comes from a great lineage as well. And Atmani Vedana means if you surrender everything, which is such a hard thing to do. Just like in the Mahabharata, there's a pastime where Yudhishthira Maharaj, where they needed to kill Ashwatthama. So Krishna and Arjuna were trying to plan how to do it. So it wasn't possible to kill him unless they did some trickery. So then they thought, okay, Yudhishthira Maharaj never lies. He's known as Dharmaraj. He's known so many beautiful names people glorify him by. That's such an honest person, such a powerful person, very intelligent, very strong mind. Sama Dhamma Tapasocham. He has all the Brahmanical qualities. So they're saying, if Yudhishthira Maharaj says that Ashwatthama is dead, then they will believe. So, but he didn't want to lie. Just like Bali Maharaj, he also didn't want to lie. Even when his guru told him, no, you can bend, you can bend it a little bit. There are some, there are some exemptions to the case. So Yudhishthira Maharaj was like, no, I'm not going to lie. If we win this war, I have to be king. Just imagine, if I lie during the battle, what kind of example, Even before I start, I'm already doing something a bit dodgy, So they said, okay, what we'll do is we'll say, there's an elephant, Ashwatthama, so we will kill the elephant and we'll say, Ashwatthama, the elephant is dead. And while we say that, then we'll blow the conch, so that way the people can't hear that the elephant. So Yudhishthira Maharaj said, okay, I can say Ashwatthama, the elephant is dead, because I'm not lying. And if you blow the conch, it's not going to mean I'm lying, because it's just going to block out the sound of the elephant. So So they said all of that, and it worked, and therefore we know the Mahabharata was successful. Luckily, otherwise maybe we wouldn't be here anymore. Like, probably would have been like Kali Yuga, like already like 5,000 years ago. I mean, it would have been like the end of Kali Yuga 5,000 years ago. So then, Yudhishthira Maharaj, his chariot was always above the ground. Because he was so pious, he was transcendental even to the ground. He was a very pious personality. So his chariot was always above the ground. Just like sometimes when we hear descriptions of Srila Prabhupada, they say he didn't walk, but he kind of just floated. He was like transcendental to the world, you know? Even when he walked, it seemed like he floated. So, but after he said that, his chariot was on the ground. So many people in India, when they read the Mahabharata, they think, just see, Yudhishthira Maharaj was not so good, you know, good guy, you know. Even though he didn't exactly lie, he still was dishonest. Just see what he did, you know. Many people criticize. But Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said that that is not the reason why his chariot touched the ground. Does anyone know what the reason is? The reason was that because when Krishna told him that you should lie on behalf of me, then he hesitated to do it. He was thinking, oh wait, but you know, I shouldn't. So therefore touched the ground. But this is just a pastime. Yudhishthira Maharaj is pure devotee. But just to teach us this lesson, that we should not hesitate in surrender, therefore this pastime is there. And the same thing with Bali Maharaj. He's giving the perfect example of how to surrender without hesitation. So this is the process of sadhana bhakti. We're trying to get to that level where we can full sharanam. So Bali Maharaj, he's a perfect example of that. And Bali Maharaj is actually, in the whole of Srimad Bhagavatam, they give example of 12 personalities who are called Mahajanas. Like Swayambhu, Narada, Shambhu, Kumara, the four Kumaras, Kapila, Manu, Prahlad Maharaj, his own grandfather, Janak Maharaj, Bhishma. Just like in Mahabharata, Bhishma gave such amazing, amazing philosophy talk to Yudhishthira Maharaj. I believe it's like many, many chapters long. He told him so many things about Varnashram Dharma, about Bhagavatam, Bhishma, and Bali Maharaj. Bali, Vyasaki, Sukadeva Goswami, and Vyam, like we, which means who was saying that verse? Remember? What's his name? Yamaraj. So those are the 12 Mahajans. So both Bali Maharaj and his grandfather are in it. As far as I know, they're the only two which are like family, and they're in the 12 Mahajanas. So the whole Srimad Bhagavatam, they give these as the 12 very perfect examples. So Lord Vamanadev, he was so pleased with Bali Maharaj, what he did. He was going to send him to Sutala Loka, you know. But by surrendering, then he gave him pure bhakti. He liberated him from all the material suffering in the material world. So in this verse, the last line, Siddhanapi namuhyati, which means, although being bereft of all material opulences, because he surrendered, he is not bewildered. Just like sometimes we become bewildered, no? Like, you know, for instance, okay, we want to come to Kulimala. Is Bhima here? No, he didn't come. So one of our friends, Bhima, he's a Guru Kuli from California. So he came to Kulimala. He just flew from America. He's going to travel in Europe. And on the way to Kulimala, he took an Uber with two other friends who are not devotees, but they're becoming devotees slowly. And he forgot his passport and money and some other things in the Uber. And it was an Uber all the way from Brussels. It cost like 150 euros or something like that. So he was, you know, quite shocked. You know, no passport, no money. But he was still happy because he's at the temple with devotees. He was still smiling. He was still happy. So in a similar way, although I'm not trying to compare it to Bali Maharaj, but it's just an analogy, you know, and the points are similar in this case. so it can be applied. In a similar way, Bali Maharaj, because he was very happy to be connected to the Lord, to be in the presence of the Lord, he didn't care that he lost everything. And the Kshatriya is not like the Brahmana. The Brahmana, Jnanam, Vijnanam, Astikyam. They have knowledge, realized knowledge, they have renunciation, they have so many good qualities. But the Kshatriyas, they're not very renounced actually, Kshatriyas, they don't have to follow rules and regulations like we do in ISKCON. Kshatriyas, they drink, they can gamble on different things like this. Because they have such material opulence, it's very hard to give it up. Just like sometimes we feel like, oh, I'm very renounced, I don't have this and that. But it's because we never had it in the first place. It's easy to be renounced when you don't know something. Like, I'm very renounced. I don't need $1 million house, but you never live in $1 million house. You're living like in the campsite somewhere, like in the forest somewhere. So it's very easy to be renounced when you never had anything in the first place. But Bali Maharaj had everything. There was nothing in the material world that, he was such a great king, so much wealth, so much sense gratification. And even then, he didn't hesitate. That's why Lord Ramdev was so pleased. So this is such a great example. That Siddhan api namuhyati. There's another verse where, I forget which canto it's in, but where it's describing how that, I think Srila Prabhupada even quoted this about his own life. Because he was a good businessman, at pharmacist. He was selling drugs, as he said once. When one of the disciples, they were like, I think it was ShyamSakhi or somebody. They went, ShyamSakhi?
Yes.
Yeah. He had to go for a little bit of time, like behind bars. Because before he joined, he was selling drugs or something like that. And then Srila Prabhupada said, what's the problem? I also was selling drugs. Selling, painkillers, antibiotics, like. And so Srila Prabhupada said, and then at one point, Krishna took everything away from him. His business failed, and his family didn't like him. His wife sold his, I think, Gita or Bhagavatam transcript for something, So many horrible things happened to him. So many things were taken away. And then he quoted this verse that Yasyaham anugrihami harishet dhanam shanai tato dhanam tajantyasya swajana dukkha. That Yasyaham anugrihami. Yasyaham anugrihami, one who I favor. Yasyaham, Yasya means that one and Aham means I. Favor anugrihami. Harishet dhanam shanai. What does Hari mean? Yeah, he takes, what's the meaning of it? It's a Lord's name, yeah. Takes everything away. Harishet dhanam shanai. Dhanam means wealth. So he takes away all his wealth. Tato adhanam, tato means then, adhanam means, when you put A behind the Sanskrit word, what does it become? Negated. So afterward, when he becomes free, not free, but when he loses all his wealth, tajantyasya swajana dukkha dukkita. Then everyone starts to reject him. Family members are like, Dad, I liked you, but I liked you more when you used to buy me, PlayStation 5 or whatever. Whatever is the latest PlayStation, When you used to buy me, nice clothes, So when you lose everything, family, friends, they disappear slowly. Just like there's a saying that, who's a real friend? Like a friend in need is a friend indeed. So when you lose everything and people still like you, then they're your real friend. Some people, they like someone because they're famous or because they're very popular, They have a nice social group, they go to the best social events or something like that. Or somebody has a big house, they always have some house party or something like that. Or someone is big, he has a big job, so people want to be friends with him just so they can help, climb up the social ladder or the employment ladder or something. And then when they lose everything, good old Tom, who used to always call me, how's work going, I want to help you with your investments, I could really help you with that real estate, I could get you an extra few $1 million. But when you lose all your business, then good old Tom doesn't ring anymore, You wake up in the morning thinking, when is Tom going to ring me? So when you lose everything, then then people slowly start to fade away sometimes. And then dukkha dukkitam, then you suffer again and again. So the Lord is giving this example that you lose everything, but then you get Krishna. Because Bali Maharaj, he gave up all of the material world basically for Ramana, and what did he get? He got Lord Ramana's lotus feet on his head, which is much better than anything in the material world. Even quadrillions of Ferraris or so many amazing opulent food preparations or whatever it can be, is not even like a speck of sand on the beach from like Brazil all the way to Canada, like all along the coast. It's not even one speck of sand compared to the power and the mercy of the Lord's foot on your head. Because what happens when the Lord's foot is on your head? Then you become free from all material suffering. So in this material world, whatever you do, you can travel to all different planetary systems, you can do whatever you want, you can try everything. Just like Hiranyakashipu, he tried every little technique how he could become happy in the material world. He tried every small and huge thing he could do. So many austerities, he had so much beautiful women in Lanka, he had so much beautiful alcoholic beverages, so many things. He was thinking, I'm so amazing. He had the best organic silk clothes or something. He had the best crowns, like shined every day by like professional metal shiners. He had everything in the material world, but he was still completely dissatisfied. And he was so envious that, my son, he's so happy, but all he's doing is just praying, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. And he tried to tell his father, he tried to teach his father, but because he had so much enjoyment and wealth, then he couldn't, the resolute determination for devotional service didn't take place. So Prabhupada explains in some previous purpose that, in this chapter, that the devotee, even when he has everything, he's still not bewildered. That's why it says in this verse, Sidanapi namuyati. In the Gita, Krishna says that Bhoga Aishwarya Prasaktanam Mayataya Paritachaitasam Vyavasayadmika Buddhi Samadho Navadiyate. That Bhoga and Aishwarya, material enjoyment and material wealth, Prasaktanam Mayata Paritachaitasam. That when you have all of these things, then Vyavasayadmika Buddhi Samadho Navadiyate. That when the resolute determination to practice devotional service doesn't take place. Because you want to chant some rounds and then you're thinking about, I need to play like chord 4 now, or something like that. So when you have enjoyment, it's hard to focus your mind. And when you have so much wealth, it's hard to focus. There's another verse which says that the two main pleasures of material world is sex life and money. So, just like Hiranyakashipu, he was trying to squeeze like those things so much, but nothing happened. Punah charvita charvananam, again chewing the chew. That Prahlad Maharaj said that they don't know, you don't know that the Swartagatin, one's own personal need is to serve Vishnu. Natevatu Swartagatim Vishnu. Durashaya Bahirartha Manina. Why? Because you're bewildered. Dura Ashaya. Dura means very bad or very unpleasant, very hard. Ashaya means hopes or desires. Yai Bahirartha Manina. These are all, Bahir means external. So these are all external things. You have so many hopes for all these external things, material things. And because of that, you don't understand that the goal of life is Vishnu. Andaya Tander Upaniyamana. It's just like when you have someone who's blind and you're following him, then you're not going to go very far. No? Like he's blind, you're blind. You end up in a ditch probably, after maybe 5 minutes, You're walking down the road like out of Radhadesh and then you slip in a ditch because you're like following a blind person. So you need Guru. So Prahlad Maharaj was trying to teach that to his father, that you need Guru, you need to surrender to Vishnu. And there's another verse where he says, Punah charvita charvananam, that again chewing the chewed. It's just like you're walking down the street. This is a gross example, sorry, but it's quite effective. Walking down the street and there's like a piece of chewing gum in the grass. And then you pick it up and want to chew that to enjoy it. It's like very stupid, no? So this is material enjoyment. We've tried it so many times. It's the same thing, but we want to chew again. Maybe if I chew it more with my rear like tooth on the very back one, my 3 tooth or something. Maybe it will be better than when I chewed it with the back tooth on this side. Or maybe I can chew it with my canines instead of my moon or something like that. But it's the same thing. Just like there was one story that I think Laksha Hira story. Prabhupada used to give. It was a Laksha means 1,000, no? Like a lakh, no, 10,000. 1 lakh. Anyway, basically there was a prostitute, but she required a very large fee to use the services, so to speak. Laksha Hira means gold. So there was one poor man. He wanted to enjoy with this lady. He was very shrewd man. You know, he had a wife, but he still wanted to enjoy with some, very beautiful prostitute. But he needed. Oh no, this is sorry. Anyway, I forgot the name of the story. But basically, somebody wanted to enjoy. This is the Bhagavatam, with the prostitute, and she basically was like, "Okay, but come back tomorrow." So then she took a laxative. Does anyone remember what was the story? Huh? Yeah, it was a prostitute. I'm mixing up two stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she was the last man who wanted to enjoy it. She was trying to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Come back.
Yeah. He said, "Come back in a week's time." So she took a laxative, and all of the byproducts which came out from the body, she put in a big, like a vase, big jar or something. So then he came back in a week to the same place to enjoy with his girlfriend or whatever, and he was like, "Excuse me, grandmother, where's your beautiful, granddaughter with such beautiful, fine skin, very silky hair, very toned body, very beautiful, We were supposed to have a date, we were supposed to go on a little date, Where is she gone?" And then she was like, "What do you mean? I'm here. Don't you see me? What do you mean? Like, I'm right here in front of you. There's nobody else in this house." And then he was like, "What? You maybe your countenance is not so bad, but it's not like this girl." Because of the laxative, all of the skin was like kind of all grayed out. The body was very thin, and she looked very like wrinkles everywhere because the body was so weak. All of the nutrition had left the body from this laxative. So she said, "Oh, the enjoyment which you want to enjoy that beauty, that's in this vase." So he went over to the vase, and then he went, and he opened the lid, and then he was like, "Oh." Luckily he didn't have too much, like kitchen in the morning, because it may have come out. So he was like, "Oh my God, I was thinking this body is an enjoyable thing, but actually this is all of that beauty is now entered this vase." So he learned the lesson. So you can see that in the material world we think what we think is enjoyment, bhoga and aishwarya, is not enjoyment. But we can see that Bali Maharaj, because he was a devotee, he had a higher taste. Therefore, even though in the Gita it said that generally when you have too much bhoga and aishwarya, the determination to do devotional service doesn't take place. When you are a bhakta, then you're transcendental. You're not affected by those things. Just like Prabhupada, one time he said that I have so many personal servants around the world. I have 5,000 servants. Wherever I go, they're willing to do anything for me. And he says, I have so many big properties around the world. I have a beautiful castle which we bought in 1975 in Mayapur, in Lusai Lama. And I have, 1973 with my good friend George Harrison, a famous musician, we bought a huge children mansion, so many things. So he said, I could speak like this, that I have so many servants, I have so much wealth, I have so many cars. Just like when he came to Bhaktivedanta Manad, once they picked him up on a helicopter. He didn't like it, but because it was too noisy and it was really nuts and very dangerous. But he did go on a helicopter once to Manad. So many Rolls Royce, often when he was picked up, he was in a Rolls Royce. So he could say, I have all of these things, the best cars, the best people at my disposal, the best property, the best food, whatever I want to eat, they would cook for me. Even people from New Vrindavan, they used to fly all the way to Mayapur or Vrindavan, and they used to bring him the Mahasweets from New Vrindavan. One devotee was telling me his wife used to take for Prabhupada all the way across the world. So whatever he wanted, he could have. But Prabhupada, he never misused even for one billionth of a millisecond any of that. He said, I could say that, but I won't, because everything is for Krishna. So you can see every second of his life, he didn't misuse. Tamal Krishna Maharaj, he asked Prabhupada in a letter that, what were you in your previous life, and different questions like this, little bit direct questions. And Prabhupada told him that actually there was never a time in my life where I was forgetful of Krishna. Because his father, Gaur Mohan, from birth he was training him in devotional service. Even when he was a young boy, he was worshipping deities, he was serving sadhus, they were going to Rath Yatra, so many things. So he said even from birth there was never a moment where I was forgetful of Krishna. So we can see that just like Bali Maharaj, just like Prahlad Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada is also exactly the same. He was always in the mood of Anmanivedana, not flickering, just like, some days we want to get up, some days like, no, maybe for health I should sleep in, till midday, like something like that. But Prabhupada, even at night, he just slept only a couple of hours. And then whole night translating. So, Srimad Bhagavatam is teaching us, giving us these examples, because when you hear the pastimes of the pure devotees, by association, then you develop those qualities slowly. So the whole point of Srimad Bhagavatam is that you associate with these personalities. You associate with Prahlad Maharaj, you associate with Bali Maharaj, you associate with Vaman, Lord Vamanadev, you associate with all of the great Mahajanas. And same thing with Srila Prabhupada. When we hear his pastimes, then with affection, when you have affection, then that's how you develop those qualities. Just like association doesn't mean that you just like hang out with someone. Like one devotee, I was at Birmingham 24-hour Kirtan, and one devotee said to me that, I went to the cinema the other day, I watched this nice movie, and it's like, I brought my friends because I wanted to give them my association, I'm trying to cultivate them. So I was like, that's maybe not the best way to give someone your association, like you're watching a movie in the cinema. Because even if it was like not a Krishna conscious movie, because then it would be good, but even if the movie was like okay, like some kind of something good there, you're not speaking to him anyway, and association really means to give someone, some knowledge, some Krishna Katha. So once Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, his guru, Gokishore Das Babaji Maharaj, I think it was 3 instructions he gave him. He was like, don't initiate too many disciples, or don't initiate any, I think too many, no? He said, don't initiate too many disciples. Don't go to Calcutta, because that's like the place of Kali. He said that Calcutta is the home of Kali. So don't go there. And he says, never associate with non-devotees. So, I'll end on this because it's getting late. Do we have to finish at 45, right? So he got these 3 instructions, but Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he always loved to preach and teach, even by his example, by doing something which was a little bit controversial, not controversial, but a little bit shocking, He's not controversial because he's completely shastric, but like very shocking, controversial to the kind of the Hindu idea, the Hindu caste Hindu idea at the time. So he gave these 3 instructions, if I remember correctly. So he said, never go to Calcutta. So, but Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was going regularly to Calcutta. One of his best temples was there in Calcutta. We went many times. And he said, don't initiate either no or too many disciples, I can't remember. But he had many disciples. Probably in the whole time, like at that time, Sampadaya was like quite a shock, the amount of people initiated. He had, I think, 64 mats all over India, and the former India, before like Britain destroyed it, before they separated. I think he had centers also in Bangladesh, maybe in Nepal, I don't know, but in Greater India. And the last instruction was that don't associate with non-devotees. But many times, even in Mayapur or Navadip, even the British came to visit him, the British government officers. So in those days, if you're a Brahmana or Guru or sannyasi, at least you associate, with people who are decent, But all of these officers, they were drunkards, they were meat eaters, the British at that time, they were doing so many bad things, massacres, so many horrible things. And they were especially eating beef. If you associate with a beef eater, and all the Brahmanas would look at you like, who are you? So many things, but he was inviting them, and even they were eating in Navadvip, even he arranged for them to eat meat there, because they wouldn't come without that. And in order to preach to them, he even arranged that. So these three things, some people, they were thinking, these three instructions, and they're all completely broken. Like, you cannot break it anymore, Like you get a twig and you snap it once, but Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, to them it looked like he snapped the twig this long once and then another 10 times. like that. But what was the answer? He said that, I didn't initiate any disciples, or too many disciples, whatever, because they are all my disciples. My Guru Maharaj has sent them to teach me. Same thing Srila Prabhupada said, that he said, my Guru Maharaj has sent all of you to help me in this mission, because I cannot do it alone. So the same thing, Prabhupada said the same thing his Guru Maharaj said. So he said, I didn't initiate too many disciples, or any disciples, because I am their disciple. And then what was the other thing? Don't go to Calcutta, the place of Kali. Or Kali actually, not Kali. And why? Because where did I go? I went to preach in the temple, Krishna consciousness. Or wherever I went to preach, that becomes a dhan. Because Tirtha Kurvanti Tirthani, the Tirtha is purified by the sadhu. Just like the Ganga or Yamuna, to come down to this well was very scared, that so many sinful people would bathe in my waters, and I'm going to get so contaminated, what am I going to do? And then she was reassured that don't worry, because so many sadhus will also take a bath in your waters, so that will help. So the same thing, that the Tirtha Kurvani Tirthani, that wherever Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur went, that becomes a Tirtha, a holy place. And also his main project was the temple anyway there, the huge temple, such big preaching he was doing there. So actually he never entered Calcutta. And the last one was, never associate with non-devotees. So he said, I never associate with non-devotees. He said that association means to take something from somebody. But I never took anything. I never even took one little instruction from any of these materialists. I only gave them my association. Just like once Tribhuvanatha Prabhu was preaching in Africa, and he used to do so much preaching and work so hard. Even he had stomach cancer for 1 year, and he didn't even realize. That's how hard he used to work. Like when Tamal Krishna saw him on the Gopanima parade, he said that he was shocked that even from all other of his god brothers, no one could do what he did, lead a kirtan like that, so weak, So he was also in Africa, and Tribhuvanatha Prabhu was in Africa, and he stayed at a hotel. And Krishna Mai, she's a senior devotee there in Kenya. She was running the orphanage there, the Gurukula orphanage. And she said to him, why would you stay in such a place, Because in Africa there is not like in Amsterdam there is like red light district, right? But in Africa it's like wherever you go you can have red light, no problem. So in that hotel it was full of prostitution and full of drunkards and very dirty. You go to lie down and you're like, this is a nice grey bedsheet, where did you buy it? The staff are like, actually it should be white, So he was staying in such a place, and he quoted the same thing to Krishna Mai. I just heard recently from Krishna Mai that he quoted the same thing. He said, I didn't go there to associate with them. Wherever he gave book, he would preach to the people in the hotel like that. So this is the same thing which Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said. He said that I never associated with any materialist, because association means to take something from somebody else. So, a bit late, but anyway, any questions, quickly? Or comments?
Yeah, thank you, lovely class. There's another part of the story to Bali Maharaj. When he when Baba Maharaj came and asked that, I want 3 steps. When he did the first 2, Baba Maharaj was hesitating. That hesitation caused an action from Baba Maharaj. He did 3 steps. The first step, then he surrendered and he put it on his head. But then he immediately got bound by ropes from Baba Maharaj. And it took Baba Maharaj himself came to pray to release him. Well, Baba Maharaj, he has given you everything. And Srila Prabhupada told us very important, significant reason why that happened. That in this world, when Krishna takes everything away from us and we want to surrender, he said it doesn't automatically happen at once, that you're going to get those results. Like in Bali Maharaj, it took, he had the great lineage of his grandfather who came. And so Srila Prabhupada said that I am that lineage.
Wow.
He said, when Krishna takes everything away from you, he said, you have the patience and the faith that I will make sure you have that mercy from the Lord.
Wow.
So a very significant story, but thank you.
Wow, thank you.
I just wanted to share.
That was extremely nice to hear. Thank you very much. Any more questions or comments? Okay, thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Premanande.
It's the football place that this street. Like I got to go with that. I didn't organize it. You could have done it, you would have played one big tournament, like a school phase and knockout and final. But they did it because they have too many people for one field. They said they're going to split in three, and then they're going to be playing 3 different days. But I was like, yeah, that means you just only play one of 2 days. Keep playing. I have no idea. I didn't. Yeah. That's it. It was a wonderful class, huh? It's the new generation. So much knowledge already. Yeah, it's like, whoa. Then you really see like one more day when the gurus the old things also new generations take over. And it's like, wow. It's a guru in becoming, you know? Yeah.
No, they asked me about it.
From the back?
Yes.
Now he's in here for 6 hours. Are you from where you're from? Different houses. I was also here for 6 years.
When they asked me,
like there's a lot of places that they call now it was you're always that's nice. You're from the US, traveling far. When did you arrive? Last week. So you've been here traveling? Okay. That was our first kind of sightseeing as well? Yeah. Nice. Oh, nice. So your first arrival here was Brussels? Belgium national. Yeah, so everybody in red. Yeah. We have a similar in the Netherlands, King's Day. Never by school. Yeah. And then there's a super big word. And there's a super big arena. Everybody's wearing orange. And then the devotees are everybody's rosary that they exactly. And there's 1 million people on the streets and massive. And then basically the devotees are the main attraction. Like they get so many nice response. Everybody's in happy mood, you know, right? They day off and it's like national day. But they are like so happy and then the devotees are there. Oh hey! And every year like there's a podium or something. And they were like, I was already waiting for the Hare Krishnas to come. If they weren't here, that wouldn't be a successful festival. They're like really like waiting for, you know? Yeah. I don't know how that is in Belgium, but they were celebrating Belgium's National Day. Which day is that then? Which day you arrived? 2 weeks ago, 1 week ago. Not 1 week ago.
We got there.
So your first time you're going to Radhadesh.
Yeah.
You got any other plans?
Yeah. Well.
Definitely recommend. It's different. Like a lot of cities are kind of the same, you know, high buildings and lots of traffic and some squares and some highlights. But Amsterdam has canals. That's really like different than any big city. Like you can be on a boat and it's scenery, like nice atmosphere, and it's everything historical. Like the whole city center is built in 1700s. The time was like that we were trading with spices from the east, and then of that the Dutch became very rich, and then they built huge houses and now they're being renovated. So it's still the same scenery as 1700s. That kind of gives a very historical feeling to the city.
Yeah, that sounds
And if you go to the places, you also try to find the temples over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's also Croatia. Croatia is definitely over there. With which group you travel?
Just me and my wife.
You and your wife? Just you two? Wow.
We'll see them here and there.
Yeah.
That's where travel is.
Heard that?
That's enjoying somewhere.
Wow. That's amazing. How long are you planning to stay in Europe?
3 months.
3 months. That's the maximum you can get.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, we didn't tourist visa, 3 months.
We didn't have to get a visa. We just got.
It's very nice.
Yeah, we're gonna go to India.
As well?
Yeah.
Wow.
Trying to do a whole year.
Kartik is in
End of October.
So you're staying here until wow.
Yeah.
And then you go straight on. Cool. No, I don't think you need. What was your name, by the way?
Rupa.
Rupa.
Yours?
Ron.
Ron, that's right.
Rupa, Ron. Ron, exactly. People, sometimes in English, people have difficulties with my name. They think it's Ron or Ron. No, Ron. But to say that, some people think again, but if they know Harry Potter, I always say Ron Weasley. Then they know, you know. Rupa. Very nice.
Yeah, I think so.
Hare Krishna. Let's get prasad, let's get breakfast.
But I think it's
Yeah? No worries. The prasad is anytime. Yeah, alright, back. See you later. I will.
No, I just came down myself maybe because we didn't agree yesterday.
She was going to take a yoga class also at 8:30, but it should be done at.
Okay. What was it?
I think it was in the college. Back. I think so.
But
If I see her.